Bacchus. I have the pleasure of directing this fine ensemble. I will try not to talk too much tonight. Those who know me in the audience are rolling their eyes. But I do want to tell you a little bit about the pieces we're presenting tonight. So the first thing you just heard, those three pieces were three Romantic period art songs set for Treble Choir later than the Romantic era. The first was Ouvre ton cœur, which was composed by Georges Bizet, who maybe that name doesn't ring a bell. The author Carmen might ring a bell. That is his most famous composition. I hear a lot of, I don't know about you, I hear a lot of like the same zest and fire in that first piece as I do in the author Carmen, particularly like Chanson d'un Poème. But Ouvre ton cœur was composed 15 years before Carmen. So I like to think of her as like Carmen's less verbose older sister. The second piece you heard was a beautiful art song by Reynaldo Hahn, which is a setting of a Victor Hugo poem, that famed author of Les Miserables and Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm going to read you that poem actually, because I think the text speaks for itself. So again, this was the second piece we sang. My verses would flee, sweet and frail, to your garden so fair, if my verses had wings like a bird. They would fly like sparks to your smiling heart, if my verses had wings like the mind. Pure and faithful to your side, they'd hasten night and day, if my verses had wings like love. That poem is beautiful, and it's beautifully set by Reynaldo Hahn. The final piece that you heard in that last set was Ist gekommen, which is an art song by Clara Schumann. It's a setting of a Rooker poem. And if you know anything about Clara Schumann's relationship with her husband, you might have heard of him, Robert Schumann. You may understand why a poem about a very dramatic arrival in storm and rain makes sense for her to set that kind of a poem. If you don't know about their love story, that's a really fun internet rabbit hole for you to go on later. Continuing with this idea of like yearning and toil and pining, we are going to move now to The Moon is Distant from the Sea by David N. Childs. It's a setting of an Emily Dickinson